Welcome to Stadium BS. For more information, check out www.castellonms.com.
Excited. Last week, Genius also started a new collaboration with Publicis Sports in which its in-game data would be used to infer fans' emotional states and the impact that has on buying behavior. By tracking game momentum, as well as some research they conducted with fans watching NFL games that were wearing heart rate monitors and eye tracking glasses, they discovered a few trends. For example, fans watching their team lose a game are more likely to order in food, so that could prompt an advertisement or offer for DoorDash or Grubhub. Fans whose teams win a game are more likely to spend on a high-value purchase. As always, the proof is in the execution of how these concepts can actually convert into targeted advertising, but it's certainly a fascinating idea as we move toward a world with truly personalized experiences.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are around the world. This is Frankie Castle. I'm the host of Stadium BS. Check out my website, www.castellonms.com. That is CASTELLONMS.com. I have everything Frankie, including my hair follicles and the kitchen sink. Feel free to get in contact with me. I have my contact info if you want to help a brother out on making the show better, $5 or more. Support Frankie. I have stuff that I'm selling resale in addition to my own merchandise via the TikTok shop and my own Castellon Motivational Standard store. If you want to get a free hat out of me, take the survey. Win a free hat if you have the best idea. And also, if you want to be a guest on the show, let me know. CastellonMS.com. How you get a hold of me. I got a lot to cover, and the first thing I wanted to cover was the clip that you heard earlier from the Sports Business Journal. I've been meaning to cover this for a while. This happened in December, and we're now in February, and I just wanted to bring to the attention of my listeners about this idea. Genius Sports partners with Publicis Sports to reimagine future fan engagement. So, in a nutshell, can you imagine the future? And we probably know this from Back to the Future, Demolition Man, or whatever. But can you imagine having these Ray-Ban smart glasses, let's just say, with the cameras and all that? I need to get me one of those. Maybe one day. Vanguard. Fancy. Anyway, can you imagine having one of these in an Apple Watch or a Fitbit or a Google Watch or whatever the case may be? And they test your heart rate monitor and your visual of what you're watching. If you're watching a game that is, your team is winning, and how you feel when your team is losing. And your team lost, you want to wallow in your sorrow and you're hungry. You're going to get an ad that pops up in your smart glasses saying, get some DoorDash. Get some DoorDash from your favorite place. And then if your team wins, hey, there might be an ad on Fanatics saying, get the championship gear now if it's a championship game. My goodness. We're going back to the future on this one, and it's hilarious of how marketing in a capitalistic nation works. They will find any way in order to sell your product. I'm no better myself because you've heard me. You hear ads on this podcast. However you're listening to it, if you're watching it on YouTube, I also advertise certain things, but this is a whole new level of insanity. So call me a hypocrite if you want, but any way to make money. All right, but I'm not going at this level to use AI in marketing to test my emotions and then be like, boop, this is what you need. You need this. Can you imagine? I just thought about it just now. I said, can you imagine if we still had cigarette ads and this technology came up? Yes, it's morally wrong, but I wouldn't hold it past people to do this. Anyway, it's just unbelievable. I'm just gonna read a quick little quote of this. The partnership will focus on 3 key pillars: moment-driven activation, unlocking live sports data and emotional fan signals to deliver the target media placements across the programmatic ecosystem. Well, it is problematic, but yeah, programmatic ecosystem, and then enabling campaigns to react in real time, whether it's a game-winning touchdown or a record play or a stunning upset. So pretty much, long story short, you feel something, guess what? Ad will pop up. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there on news you didn't know. Now, there's going to be some that you might not know. This one's going to be a little tough for me to explain, but the federal government is taking control and putting prediction marketings on a federal level, basically undermining each state that does have sports betting in certain states. I'm like, the states usually regulate this, but they're putting prediction marketing on a federal level so you can predict anything you want. I talked about this in one of my other episodes. I think it's last week or the beforehand about prediction marketing. And basically, it's on a federal level now. They are in full control of the prediction markets. Mike Selick, who is the head of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, basically, during the Biden era, they would have prohibited sports and political event contracts, such as prediction marketing. Now, under Trump, now we have full access to prediction marketing, and it's going to get even worse. Major League Baseball, yes, Major League Baseball, the ones I'm bitching about, are now going to jump into this pool. Donald Trump Jr. invested in Polymarket. Also is an advisor of Kalshi, which is one of the big-time prediction marketing companies. So I will post his Twitter video about it. I'm also going to put these articles here because I want you to interpret it for yourself. I'm just telling you my opinion. We're going down a deep hole in capitalism, and any way the rich get richer and the poor stay poor. So anything opportunistic to make more money, it's gonna happen. So let's underline the rich on what they can do to get richer and get into greed. Now, I'm no conspiracy theorist, okay? I'm just a fan. I have my Milwaukee Brewers hat that I got for dirt cheap out of Ross. And not even $10, actually. It's a wool hat, but I like it. It's comfortable. It's a snapback. It's an A-frame from years ago, but it's comfortable. But the rich are going to get richer, and they'll find opportunistic ways to get ahead. And by reading that article, it's going to happen. If you're one of these prediction marketing companies and you want to buy stock into this, do it now. But it sucks. It really does suck, and it's just taking away the vulnerable. And if you want to hear about that prediction marketing episode, please go take a look at it. I'll put it at the end of the video. Speaking of greed and the timing of this, we all know that there is going to be an MLB lockout at the end of 26 and have negotiations with them. And the owners want a salary cap. Okay? They want a salary cap. They want a salary floor. They want to make sure that you spend a certain amount, the max that you could spend in order to limit certain markets to not profit share so much. Because look at the Dodgers, they're they're buying a new planet at the rate they're going, and it's gonna get worse as due time. So you saw all the signings that the Dodgers made. Like, so who is the person that's gonna be fighting against this? His name is Tony Clark, former ball player and the head executive of the MLBPA. The one is fighting in order to not have a salary cap and to negotiate a new collective bargaining agreement that will end that proposed lockout in 26 going to 27. Taking like a 5-year deal, if I remember correctly. But lo and behold, in the midst of these negotiations, Tony Clark is quitting due to a federal investigation of having an inappropriate relationship with, was it his sister-in-law? Yeah, his sister-in-law. Yeah. So let me ask you a question. I saw, and this was through Jeff Passan. This is through Front Office Sports of how they explained it, and Jeff Passan was the one that broke this news. I think it was as of February 17th. And it said here as MLBPA director after internal inquiry, which is, oh my goodness. So let me ask you a question. I said this a while back, and I put the Godfather music on I put the Godfather music on this video I did a while back. It was about a year or two, and it was about Manfred like basically having a talk with the governor, and we're gonna make sure that we get baseball in Tampa Bay, and it's gonna stay there. And you make one call to the Godfather Manfred, and it's going to happen. I swear to you, and I'm no conspiracy theorist. I'm. I bet you someone called it in saying, you know what, we got dirt on this guy, okay? We're going to make a deal with you that you cannot refuse. If you quit this job, I'm going to give you this, this, and this. And if you don't like it, guess what? We're going to put you under investigation by the federal government. Mark my words. I'm no conspiracy theorist, but connect the dots a little bit. Oh boy. So now they're scrambling to get a new executive director, and then they have to get this mess on their lap. Unbelievable. Anyway, I'm going to stop it there. I'll be right back. And I'm going to talk about a book that I listened to for the last 2-3 weekends. And it has a lot to do with the labor union, a person from the labor union in the NFL. I'll be right back. As you can see on the screen, this is the latest book I listened to, and it was a doozy. Now, I'm not really a football fan anymore, as you can tell from my podcast and my videos on YouTube, but I had to listen to this book. I'm not a reader. I like listening while I'm work. Listen while you work. Do 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 do. Anyway, so I listened to a book which is an awesome listen to or read called Turf Wars, and it's done by the former NFL Players Union president DeMaurice Smith. If you don't know who he is, He has been in the league since 2009. He resigned finally, I think it was 2022, 2023, in order to have a successor. And then that one got fired for inappropriate conduct. And then this one got fired. Do your homework. You'll figure that out. But he had a lot to say from his perspective on pretty much dealing with not only the players and basically their rebellion against him because he was an outsider. He was a trial attorney, pretty much. Okay, that's what he was, a trial attorney. And how it is that certain leagues will actually have agencies recruit them and see what will be the best fit for the job. And that's what he was explaining in the beginning of the book. And he was surprised that even he got the job. And he had to make relationships with NFL players that were against him, pretty much. And he told some stories behind that, but also he had to have some relationships with NFL owners. And he's talked about them, particularly two owners that really drawn on me, which was Robert Kraft and Jerry Jones. He had some interesting takes on them and their actions. Like Robert Kraft was considered the quiet assassin. He is the nicest person known to man. Yes, but don't piss him off. Don't piss off the Jew. And Jerry Jones, as flamboyant as he is, and has and as money hungry as he had some stories about him, and it was, whew, I'm like, it does connect the dots a lot on that they want to make more and more money, more and more and more money, and Jerry Jones in particular with not only he has licensed his own brand. He pushed on getting the Arlington Stadium, AT&T Stadium, and made that franchise, even though they have not won in 3 decades, they are valued at a $10 billion rate, pretty much. And still not enough. Still wants to drive and get other great, even though he's in his 80s. But he he explained how much that this job almost killed him. Okay. And it is not an easy job. I'm like dealing with owners, dealing with players, dealing with the commissioner, which I'm surprised that man is still alive because of how much trouble this man went through, Roger Goodell. Um, so he told the stories about the Ben Rice situation of him beating up his fiance, the Colin Kaepernick knee, and that whole situation. I'm like, he gave us an inside look of everything and giving, unfiltered takes on all of it. He also talked about his beginning, being in rural Virginia and being a son of a pastor, thinking that that was his calling, but then he jumped into law and he was very good at it. And that's why the NFL sorted him out pretty much. And a lot of the fights also with owners and the players union is guaranteeing contracts because we don't see those every day. And then the one that has the absolute guaranteed contract was, I didn't even know this, but Deshaun Watson had a guaranteed contract, and you know how much crap he's in with a lot of his decisions, let's just say. But he said something in his epilogue that really dawned on me. Okay. Why would you go into the sports business industry? Why would you go into sports at all? the business of sports specifically. If you're a player, that could also be as cutthroat because you want to make the team or you're trying to get the stepping stone, et cetera, et cetera. Sports business is very cutthroat. I can never walk right into that industry. Okay. You won't make a difference if you don't have the money or the power. You heard my news from earlier about Tony Clark getting booted out. Coincidence? You be the judge. Why a COVID season should never been played? The owners need the money. They wanted to keep their portfolios up to par or even more. This is nothing new. This is nothing new at all. I'm like, we heard it from Selig's book. We've heard it from Baseball Cop. Check that out, Eddie Dominguez, Baseball Cop. It's a similar take on this, but he also expressed his his struggles. I'm like, he drank a lot. He had restless nights. He couldn't function pretty much. That job almost nearly killed him. And he was so relieved to be out of that position because it was it was too much. And I understand. I understand completely why he would say that. But I understood it. I was so drawn to it. This is like audio was like what 14, 15 hours long, but it was well worth listening to him. He was not only he's the author, but he's the narrator as well. And he did an amazing job with it. So I got to give him props to DeMaurice Smith. He's now doing. He is a professor, and I'm trying to remember which university. I think it was University of Virginia that he teaches um, the sports in the sports business industry because of what he went through as the head of the NFL Players Union. And I'm going to leave it at that. It was amazing. Take a look at Turf Wars. Take a look at Baseball Cop from a security standpoint from Eddie Dominguez, former detective. Take a look at Bud Selig's book as well of what his experiences as not only a businessman, baseball owner, and commissioner. I'm like, these are very interesting takes. Okay. Now, which one's the truth? Who knows? You would have to physically be there to see it. So I take everything with a grain of salt. I've always been that way. And I try not to be gullible because not everything you read, not everything you see is truth. Okay. That's something we live in. Okay. I could read you the news any day of the week, but you really have to be there in order to get the facts. So, and you know how media is, it can go sideways, if anything. But your interpretation is your interpretation, but fact is fact. And we're never going to know the facts. We just know what we've been told. Okay. That's how I'm going to leave it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I need to get the groundwork running on doing that Tinkerfield podcast. It's going to be different and it's going to be entertaining. It's going to be interesting. And I think you will enjoy it. Okay. Long story short is Tinkerfield was one of the first spring facilities that the Grapefruit League had. Excuse me. And basically it overtook by football. And I'll explain why when I get that video/audio up. Take a look at my website, castlonms.com. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you enjoyed my previous episodes. Take a look at it. Everything is there of Frankie, castleonms.com. It is on your screen. It is on the description. It is on everywhere. No need for me to go further. Take care. God bless. And I will see you on the next one.
Thank you for watching and listening to Stadium BS. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, and give a 5-star review on your favorite podcast platform.